What Lonzo Thinks is a wide-ranging, free-flowing discussion where I offer up my unsolicited views on everything from movies, television, music, sports, pop culture, religion, you name it. If it's happening, I'm talking about it. Alright, next on my list of PRiNCe reviews is eMANCiPATiON. It is PRiNCe's 19th release, and what I'm doing is a retrospective review of every PRiNCe record from the very beginning to the very end, his studio releases. And eMANCiPATiON was album number 19, released on November 19th, 1996, just a few short months after he dumped Chaos and Disorder on Us, which was his last contracted record with Warner Brothers. And when I say he dumped it on us, he literally dumped it on us. It was a nondescript record that he did no promotion for. It was released with very little fanfare. It was just a mishmash of songs that he kind of just threw together with really no general concept in mind. And I understand it. He gets a mulligan from me for dumping that on us. And I think with eMANCiPATiON, he really makes up for it. And I think it was definitely on purpose from him to really put his heart and soul into eMANCiPATiON for us. And like I said, it was released on November 19th, 1996. And it was released under MPG Records with, I think, EMI handling the distribution. It basically refers to his emancipation from the slavery of his record deal with Warner Brothers. So the title of the record is definitely appropriate. And the theme of the record is just that, his emancipation. And it is a sprawling record. When I say sprawling, it is sprawling in the most broad term sense of the word. It's a 3-disc magnum opus release. And I think it's just basically him just saying, here you go. I have this freedom now to do whatever I want when it comes to my music. And I'm just going to lay it all on you. And I'm so appreciative as a fan of his that he was able to finally do what he really wanted to do after so much time. And I remember the night that I was actually, this is when I was in college. And I remember picking the record up on the way to class. I was working and going to class at night. So I remember stopping by, I think Media Play was the place that I bought it from, picking up the record and then going to class. I had like 2 classes that night, so I had to sit through all my classes. I didn't get home till maybe like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and just putting it on. I actually called one of my closest friends, Winfred Stanford. If you're out there, Oliver Winfred Stanford, what up, man? I actually called him up. He was in Denver. He was living in Denver at the time. He and I, we talked and we put the record on and listened to it together. How many songs? Good Lord. I think 30 some odd songs, I believe. Yeah, 36 songs, I believe, that we listened to that night and just kind of vibe with it. When you're a PRiNCe fan, that's what you do. It might sound kind of stupid, but that's what we do. So, anyways, here we go. Let's jump into it. Got a long ways to go. All right. This one, song 1. Wow, this one, song 1. This is a long record. Jam of the Year. Jam of the Year is a great way to open up this particular record, to open up his newfound freedom. It is a jam of a song because it's the jam of the year, and it was the jam of the year. It's, ooh, everybody's here. This is the jam of the year. And he has Rosie Gaines on the backing vocals, and it's a very strong opening song. It's not one of his best opening tracks, but it really fits the motif of this particular record perfectly. He didn't need a Let's Go Crazy type song to open up this record. Jam of the Year is the perfect song to open up this particular record, because this album itself is more of a smooth out PRiNCe, a more meandering PRiNCe, a more introspective PRiNCe record. So it really fits into that construct, and I really appreciate it. Next up is Right Back Here in My Arms. Now, Right Back Here in My Arms is my favorite song on all 3 discs. It is one of my favorite PRiNCE songs. It is my top 20 PRiNCE songs of all time, and most people probably never heard it before. But Right Back Here in My Arms, I just love the groove of this song. It has such an infectious groove, and it's one of those songs that if I listen to it once, I gotta hear it twice. I gotta hear it a third time. It doesn't even have a hook to it. It's just Right Back Here in My Arms, and it has just this driving synth type of a beat to it. And I mean, there's nothing really special about the song. I just really like it. Just some things you just like. It doesn't even have to be the best, and other people might hear them like, man, that's whack or whatever, but you just like it. And that is what Right Back Here in My Arms is to me. I just like this song. I love this song. I cannot listen to it enough. I listen to it all the time. I just love it. And it kind of reminds me of like a movie that there might be a movie that everybody thinks is terrible and the critics might trash on it, but you love it. It's like your guilty pleasure type movie that you always watch. That is what Right Back Here in My Arms is for me. It's my guilty pleasure Prince song. Like I said, most people probably won't give it a second thought, but I absolutely love this song. Next up is Somebody. It's some more of a groove type R&B, smooth out type of a jam, and he's talking about obviously about being somebody's somebody, about being in a relationship where he feels wanted and respected and loved, and it's a really good song. Not a whole lot that I can say about it other than the fact that it's a really good song. Now, Get Your Groove On is next. Get Your Groove On, I can live without it. It's an okay song. There's nothing really special about it. It's pretty nondescript. That's about all that I can say about it. It's not a go-to song for me. It's not a bad song. It just doesn't move me like the other ones did. Courtin' Time. Now, Courtin' Time is kind of an off-kilter Prince release because it has kind of a swing beat to it, like it feels like a 30s. It could fit like in a 30s, 40s type of an environment. If that makes any sense to you, it has like a bluesy swing kind of a feel to it. It's a fun song to listen to. It's one of the shorter songs, only like 2 minutes long, but it's nondescript, but it's a fun song. Next up, Betcha by Golly Wow. Yes, Prince did a cover of Betcha by Golly Wow, and I think it was originally done by the Stylistics, if I'm not mistaken. And it's one of those songs where the original version of Betcha by Golly Wow can never be bested, not even by Prince. But it is a very respectful rendition of it. I think it was the first single released from the record, and it had a nice video. This is when he was still with Maite, and so it fits what he's doing with this particular record. It is a good, faithful cover of an all-time classic song, so I appreciate it. We Gets Up is next. That's track number 7. We Gets Up is along the lines of Get Your Groove On, where it's kind of a party jam. It's filler. It's fun. Nothing really special about it, though. Next up, White Mansion. Big White Mansion at the top of the world. As you can tell, I really like White Mansion. You know what? I don't really know what it's about. I just like it. I listen to it a lot, and it's just a fun song. It's kind of detailing his life at that time, the things that the chaos and the chaos of his life, how he's all over the place, but he wants to get back to that big white mansion. I guess that's his respite. That's his. I hope it's not a metaphor for something else. But anyways, it's a great song. Damned If I Do. Damned If I Do is one of those songs that it's a good song, but it didn't move me. I haven't listened to it that much, so I can't really give you any objectivity behind it other than the fact that it's not, once again, I can say this about every song on the record, I guess. It's not a bad song, just not a song that really moved me. I Can't Make You Love Me. Now, this is a great cover by Prince. He is remaking a song by Bonnie Raitt. Yes, a country song. I Can't Make You Love Me If You Don't. I Can't Make Your Heart Feel Something It Won't. And it is a beautiful rendition of, now Bonnie Raitt's song, of course, is a little bit different, so he puts an R&B soulful spin to it, and he really does it justice. I'm sure if Bonnie heard it, I'm sure she did hear, I'm sure she gave her thumbs up. It is a very respectful rendition of a great Bonnie Raitt song, and I think actually it's better than her version because the swing that he puts on it makes it more accessible to a wider audience, whereas the Bonnie Raitt song is more of a country song, and so I think if you're really not into country music, you kind of alienate it from this song, whereas Prince's version makes it more accessible. Now, Mr. Happy is filler, but it's fun filler. It's a hip hop type jam. He does have some guy, I don't know who the guy is, who actually raps on it with him. But he's much better than Tony M. I say that much. Thank God Tony M is out of his life by this time, and the guy who does the The rap verse is passable. It's not great, but it's passable. But this is a fun song. I really like Mr. Happy. I think it's like my third or fourth favorite song on disc one. In This Bed I Scream, once again, is a up-tempo, mid-range, ballad, slow jam, high speed. I mean, it kind of fits into all those categories all at once. But In This Bed I Scream is a great song. It's fun to listen to. It's not your traditional slow jam as far as make love type song, but it's a sexy song though, and I love it, and it's one of the better songs on this one as well. All right, disc 2. Now disc 2, whereas disc 1 it has more fun tracks on it, is more party type records on disc 1. Disc 2 is really more adult contemporary stuff, more laid back, more soulful. Is really digging into the contemporary R&B side of him. A lot of these tracks, I think, could have fit like during the Diamonds and Pearls type thing. Now the good thing about disc 2 and these records on disc 2 is that he's not pandering. I can tell he's not pandering at all, which is a great thing. Sex in the Summer is the first track, and this is the track where I think he has his baby's heartbeat in as the backing track. He kind of slows down. So I think slows down and speeds up his infant child's heartbeat. Now, as we well know, PRiNCe did have PRiNCe and Mayte had a child together, baby Gregory, that passed away a few days after his birth. It was very hush hush. I don't think PRiNCE ever really spoke about it. But yeah, he did have a son that sadly passed away. But Sex in the Summer is a fun song. I say it about a lot of the tracks because most of the tracks on this record are fun tracks. It's a kind of an anthem type of a song, I guess. Something that Sex in the Summer. Yeah, I mean it's something you can put the top down and kind of ride to when you're chilling with your girl. It's not a banger, but it's a nice contemporary up-tempo R&B song. One Kiss at a Time is more of a ballad, and it's a distinctive ballad where he's really getting into his falsetto, and it's a lovely song. I think that's the best thing I say about it is that it's a lovely song that really kind of makes you want to lay down with your girl, put your arm around her, and maybe drink some wine or something with the lights dim type song. Now next up is Soul Sanctuary, which is one of my favorite PRiNCE songs of all time. It's my second favorite song on this record. I listen to it a lot, and Soul Sanctuary has a special place in my heart because when my kids were born, I put together a video of my kids, their birth and everything, and the first few weeks of their life. And Soul Sanctuary is the song that I used as the backing track to this little video that I did. So every time I hear this song, I think about my two beautiful twins, Noah and Mackenzie, and it's a beautiful song. They are my soul sanctuary. So that is what this song means to me. It really, I don't know what he really meant by the song, but what the song means to me and what my interpretation of the song is that my two children, Noah and Mackenzie, are my soul sanctuary, and I love this song. Next up is Email. www.email.com. King takes a pawn. Yeah, I love this song. Once again, it's filler, but it's fun filler. Most people probably will skip this song. I don't. It's just one of those fun, laid back tracks that PRiNCE can do. He can make a song about anything, and once again, Email kind of proves it. Curious Child on the Balcony. That's next. Curious Child. Now, Curious Child is it also makes me think of my kids as well, because I put together a mixtape for my kids, and the first song that I put on it was Soul Sanctuary, followed by Curious Child. So this song is another song that makes me think about Noah and Mackenzie. So it gets high marks from me because of its significance to me along those lines. Same thing with Dreaming About You. Now, of course, Dreaming About You is a song that I kind of dedicated to my wife at the time. Once again, now this whole record really, even though it was released in 1996, my kids were born in 2004, but I really related to my kids and to my marriage at that time. So it's something I'm really passionate about, and these songs mean more to me than it would mean to, I guess, the layperson because of what it represents at that moment in my life. Next up is Joint to Joint. Now, Joint to Joint is a beast of a jam. A beast of a jam. Has a very nice groove to it. It's a very different sounding song. Great lyrics. It's a laid back track, but at the same time it has a driving beat to it. And the first 3.5 minutes of this song are some of the best stuff PRiNCe has ever done. And then it falls off a cliff. And I've had this conversation with a lot of friends when it comes to this particular song. The tempo changes halfway through this record and it just falls off the cliff. I don't know what he was thinking about when he did this record. It's 7 minutes and 52 seconds long. It's a very long song. So when it falls off the cliff, it just goes down this black hole that I can't get with. And it's overproduced to the nth degree. He's got buck nutty, I think, with this song in the studio, and just like F it, I'm just gonna put everything I can ever think of on this record, and I think it really hurts. It takes what would have been a magnificent masterpiece of a song and makes it into a nondescript mess. So when I do listen to the song, I listen to it up until the point that the tempo changes, then I turn it off, which is sad because it is a great opening 4 minutes of this song that is some of the best stuff he's ever done. But then he just gets into this meandering where it just continually changes tempo, and he's just riffing and he's saying these stupid things, and he's eating cereal in the back of a limo. I mean, talking on the phone. I mean, it's stuff that just really didn't need to be there. This song is the definition of overproduced. Look up overproduced in the dictionary. You're gonna see Joint to Joint somewhere in that description. Next up is Holy River, which really doesn't fit after Joint to Joint because Joint to Joint really puts me in a bad way. So Holy River really doesn't get as much attention from me as I think it deserves. It's not a bad song, just something I don't really get into. Next up, Let's Have a Baby. This is another great song. I usually pair this with Soul Sanctuary, Curious Child, Dreaming About You, and then Let's Have a Baby. And once again, it makes me think about my babies, and for obvious reasons. I think this is something he kind of dedicated to Maite as well, because as I said before, this whole situation with his child and him trying to start a family and everything. Savior is next. Once again, Savior is just like every other record on this particular disc, on disc 2. It's a contemporary R&B slowed down ballad / mid-tempo song, and nothing wrong with it at all. Next up, The Plan. I can say the same thing about Savior, about The Plan. Nothing wrong with it. It's a short song, but it's there and it's good. It's not anything that you have to skip over. The final song on this track is Friend, Lover, Sister, Mother, Wife. Obviously, he's dedicating this song to his wife, Maite. It is, this song is, I think, the longest song on this particular disc. It's like 7.5, 8 minutes long. And it's a great close to this record. And it really fits into the whole construct of disc number 2, where it's more adult contemporary themes. It is a slow jam ballad dedicated to his wife. And if you're in love, if you're married, if your wife is with child, this is the kind of song you might want to play for. So next up, disc number 3. Now disc number 3 really changes everything up, and he jumps more into a new wave techno type of house music type of a vibe with this particular disc, and it opens with Slave. And now I think with this record, as far as this is his stabs at Warner Brothers, where he's really getting into the emancipation part of his life at that time. So Slave is just that. It's a great song. He's really just talking about getting into the fact that he's no longer a slave, and really, able to express himself. When I say slave, obviously in a figurative sense, where he's no longer a slave to that record company where he has to do what they say. He's now doing what he wants to do, and it's a great opening track to this disc 3. New World. New World has a techno beat to it, more of a new wave type of a sound to it, more of a European type of a feel to it. So I think with this record, he's really getting into kind of the future and kind of showing where his music is going. And New World is just that. Is he, as a newly emancipated artist. He's seeing the world from a different perspective where he can now do whatever he wants and touch anyone on the planet with his music at any time. It's a new world to him. The Human Body is next. Now, The Human Body is a great companion song to the first two tracks, Slave and New World. And The Human Body is just that. It has, once again, this is a club song, something I can hear, I can envision listening to in a club type of a setting. It has a great driving beat to it. You can dance to it. And it's really a song that kind of releases you. Great track. Face Down. Face Down next is a gangster hip hop track that PRiNCe is kind of going in on this one. You know, motherfucker, you can lay face down. Dead like Elvis. It's a fun song. PRiNCE as a rapper, I can live without it, but he tries. He's having fun with this record, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, when PRiNCE gets into rap, his credibility, kind of loses his way sometimes. But it's not a bad song. Next up is La 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 Means I Love You, which is another remake. I think this is another stylistic song, or one of those doo-wop type groups from the late 60s, early 70s. And I think his version of La La is better than the original. I love this. I think it's my favorite song on this particular disc. It's a very strong song, and his falsetto is top notch on this record. Next up is Style. Now, Style has a great beat to it. I love the melody and the arrangement, the vocal arrangement, and the instrumentation on Style. It's a fun song to listen to, where he's basically just kind of, he's talking during the record and singing during the record, and just kind of expressing what style is at this particular point. So it's a cool song to listen to. Next up is Sleep Around. Sleep Around is another fun track. It has a techno new wave feel to it. It's a long track. I think it's the longest track on this particular disc at 7 minutes plus. Do it like you like it. It's a sexy song, and that's the best thing I can say about it. It's fun. Da 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 is next, and Da 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 is a rap song, and there's not much I can say about it other than the fact that it's not terrible, but it's not a go-to song for me, because once again, when it comes to rap, I can take it or leave it. When it comes to PRiNCE, and on Da Da Da, I tend to leave it. Next up is My Computer. I scanned my computer looking for a site. He has one of my favorite lyrics on this particular record, My Computer. Evil Incorporated, blowing up bombs and things. I have a child. I have a lot to explain. I could write a letter. Who would I send it to? Fun song, My Computer. I scan my computer looking for a site, somebody to talk to, funny and bright. It's just it's a filler song, but it's a good filler. One of Us, another cover. This is the Joan Osborne song, What If God Was One of Us? And this is much better than Joan Osborne's version. It is magnificent. His interpretation of this song is absolutely magnificent, and the subject matter, of course, was very controversial. Even when Joan Osborne did it. What if God was one of us, just a slave like one of us, just a stranger on a bus trying to make his way home? It's a deep song, and his instrumentation, because this is a rock track, and the instrumentation on the song is top notch, and his guitar playing is top notch as usual. So it's my second favorite song on this record, and I put this song on a lot of mixtapes as well, and it's a good companion to The Cross. Next up is The Love We Make. I think The Love We Make would have gone better on disc number 2, but that's just me. He could have taken taken Joint to Joint and put Joint to Joint on disc 3, and The Love We Make in its place on disc number 2. It's once again, it's a slow jam, contemporary jam, and nothing wrong with it. It's a good song. Finally, Emancipation. Free! Don't think I ain't. It's just that. It's the magnum opus on this particular record. It's only 4 minutes long, but it is a strong 4 minutes, and basically he's saying that, it opens with Slave, this does, and it closes with Emancipation. And the songs in between kind of highlight what he's going through at this time and the freedom that he's now enjoying as an artist and as a person. So eMANCiPATiON is a very strong closing track. I highly recommend it. Great song. So that does it for all 36 tracks on PRiNCe eMANCiPATiON. My analysis. This is one of PRiNCE's best records. I think it's in my top 5 all time. I really appreciate the fact that he really came strong with this record after the debacle of Chaos and Disorder. And like I said before, I think it was on purpose. He just threw some tracks he had laying around, threw them together, and gave it to Warner Brothers. So here you go, fuck you, I'm out. So the fact that he released it a few months after Chaos and Disorder bears that out. He didn't promote it, but he promoted the hell out of eMANCiPATiON. He was everywhere. He was on Oprah. He was on all these different outlets, and he really promoted the hell out of his album. He was on BET a lot. He did a lot of videos. So the record is top-notch PRiNCE stuff. It did well as in the marketplace. It made the top 10, of course, and it actually charted in a lot of different countries, like 15 to 20 countries. It actually charted. It made the top 20 in the United States. It peaked at number 11 on Billboard. And for a triple LP, that is great. That is awesome, because the cost in itself is prohibitive to a lot of fans. So I think the average fan is not going to buy this record because of the cost of it, because it is a triple record. But obviously for me, I forgot how much I paid for it. I don't care. It would have been $50 I'd have paid for it. So the record, it went platinum. It went platinum a couple times over. So it sold, good Lord, over 500,000 tracks, I believe. I think each disc actually counts as a track. I mean, as a sold disc. So if you triple that, then you're looking at, it's selling, well over 2 million copies just in the United States alone. So it was a very successful record, a great comeback, and it's him saying, this is what to expect from me going forward, because he released a lot of material moving after that. And that was one of the drawbacks of his career with Warner Brothers, is they didn't want him releasing so much material. They wanted him to kind of hold some stuff back. And no, he was like, I got all this stuff in me. And we know he was a prolific recording artist when it comes to working in the studio. He was tireless. He was always making music, and he wanted to share that music. So he didn't think it was right to make all this music and just let it sit. He wanted to get it out there to his fans, and once he got away from Warner Brothers, he was able to do that through a lot of different outlets. Obviously, he started to embrace the internet and how he could reach his fans that way through the MPG Music Club and things of that nature. And obviously, just having the freedom to do what he wanted, how he wanted to do it, because his subsequent record albums that he released, his distribution deals were usually one-shot deals. I know he did a deal like with Target for one of his records for Lotus Flower. He was with EMI. I think he did something with Arista. So he never locked himself down to any particular label. He had distribution deals, and he recorded under his own label, which was great. So he was emancipated not only as a musician with Warner Brothers, he was emancipated as an artist in the marketplace as well, and he laid down a great foundation for the artists that came after him as far as how to market your music, control your music, own your music, and take ownership of your career and make as much money as you can versus making minimum money and make for yourself and a lot of money for the record label, and then having to go out on the road and gig your ass off to get paid. So now you can gig and get paid, and also control the marketplace and get paid. So he did a lot with his record, and I think in the centuries to come, people will look back on this record, and artists will look back on this record and thank him for what he did for struggling artists out there, and people who because now in the marketplace with all these different outlets, you can control everything. You don't need a record label. Chance the Rapper has proved that. You don't need a record label to be successful and to make your way in the marketplace. Obviously, it helps having a record label because financially they have the resources to get you where you need to be, but it's not impossible. I mean, you can put together your own video. Hell, look at me. I mean, I'm doing videos on YouTube, and I'm out there for everybody in the world. I've got listeners all over the world who reach out to me, and I do this from the comfort of my own home. So it just proves that if you emancipate yourself as a person, as an artist, you can do whatever you want. You can move mountains. So it's a great record, and it really nailed what he was all about as an artist at this time. So I highly, highly, highly recommend giving Emancipation a listen. It's 36 tracks, 36 strong tracks. None of these tracks are bad. None of them. 36 songs. There is no song here I'm like, damn, this song is absolutely horrible. No. Every song on this record has quality to it. There's very little filler. There's a lot of singles on this record. I mean, a lot. And it's something that you can definitely groove to and not get bogged down or anything like that. To me, disc 2 is my favorite because of the significance it has to my personal life with my kids and everything. But as far as the fun tracks go, disc 1 is more of the, if you're more jam oriented, you want to, kind of get your groove on and just, party. That's disc 1. Whereas disc 2 is more adult contemporary. You kind of laid back and you become more introspective. And whereas disc number 3 is more looking towards the future and how music is going forward, and how it would be for him going forward. And he really stayed true to that motif through the remainder of his life and through the remainder of his career. So that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Hit me up, subscribe. Once again, I appreciate all my subscribers. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the fact that you really take time out to reach out to me and to share your thoughts with me. Your thoughts are invaluable. The feedback you give me is invaluable because I do incorporate it into what I say and what I do. So thank you so much. Please continue to do so. I am listening and I am reading what you guys have to say to me. So please keep it up. Hit me up on Twitter at WhatLonzoThinks or email me whatlonzothinks@gmail.com. Once again, I'm on Patreon. Patreon. So feel free to hit me up and drop some loot on me if you want. I do appreciate it. It does keep the show going. So what do you think? PRiNCe, Emancipation. Great record. What are your thoughts about it? Did it move you the way it moved me? I want to know. Please let me know. Don't just listen. Subscribe as well. Please subscribe. I do need the subscriptions as well. So it's very important. So do subscribe. Refer me to your friends. And let's do it. Tell me what you think. PRiNCe, Emancipation. Because this is what Lonzo thinks. Bye.